Dumela mmohi re la amohela ho ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho hona mona ho Galaxy Universal Network ra fumana ho Starsat channel 500 le ho Facebook ka lebitso ke nna Refilwe Mohaladi. Dihloho tsa ditaba tsa kajeno di ka tsela ena. Phalo ya ente e theliswa leqhweng. DA e batla tie e nngwe. United States e tshehetsa okonjo e wela. Thuto ya Chicago e qale hape. Mohi ha re kene ditabeng. Letona la bophelo Dr. Zweli Mkhize o phatlaladitse ka Sontaha hore phatlalatso ya ente ya AstraZeneca e neng e reretswe ho qala Afrika Borwa haufinyane e ka emiswa ka nakwana ka mora hore e netefatswe e sa sebetse kgahlano le mafu a bobebe ho isa ho itekanetseng a bakwang ke mofuta o motjha wa COVID-19. Mkhize o boletse kakaretso hore sena se bakilwe ke tlhahiso leseding e ntjha e phallang ka hore phetho ya device di bahlolehetse ho etsa diphetho tse hlokahalang mme a re dibekeng tse nne tse tlang lefapha la bophelo le tla ba le ditholwana tsa AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson le Pfizer.
In Brazil. Subsequently, the virus in South Africa mutated to develop a variant which alters the spike protein of the virus. The virus has also been assessed against, the vaccine rather, has been assessed against this variant for effectiveness. The results suggest that the variant has significantly reduced the effectiveness of the virus on mild or moderate infection, and we are uncertain about the impact of the vaccine that it will have on hospitalization, severe diseases, and death. Excuse me. This means that what we will take from Professor Shabir Madhi is that some more work needs to be done on this issue, because the results from other countries have been quite satisfactory, but there are issues in South Africa that we need to study a bit more. So that's the first question. The second question is that linked to that is that the J&J study has been quite satisfactory, as we have heard, on mild, moderate, severe disease and hospitalization and reduction of death. So the next question is, why did we then get AstraZeneca vaccine? The answer is very simple. You know, when we were dealing with the issue of vaccine acquisition, the first question we were asked, why didn't we bid on all of these vaccines? And we said, no, the results were not known. So we had a difficulty in putting any bid when we didn't have the results. Right now, as we're coming to this, the results were not out, but there were already indications of which vaccines were actually highly considered. And amongst them, AstraZeneca was that. In the process, we then went for availability. Which of these vaccines could be accessed as early as possible? You recall that when the president went in public, the president announced that the COVAX facility will deliver the vaccines as early as April. And we then subsequently indicated that the president's announcement is correct insofar as the COVAX facility was concerned. But the president had also said we must try and make sure we make these vaccines available much earlier than that date. And we did say in public that we are targeting a release of these vaccines.
Ente ya lethal dose e lengwe e bontshitse e sebetsa hantle ka diperesente tsa 85 ho thibela mafu a matla le lefu ho mofuta wa 501Y-V2. Afrika Borwa e fumane ditekanyo tsa dimilione tsa ente ya AstraZeneca ho tswa setsing sa India sa Serum bekeng ena ka sehlopha se seng sa ditekanyetso tse dikete tsa 500 tse lokelang ho fanwa ha morao kgweding ena.
Obviously have got somewhere along the line we'll get the response about what to do with the AstraZeneca, and therefore at the right time then we will have increasing numbers of vaccines that will be coming from the two, which is Pfizer and J&J. We are also still in negotiations with a whole number of other vaccines. There are discussions going on Sputnik V, There are discussions going on the Sinopharm. The department and the Ministerial Advisory Committee are dealing with that. There are discussions that are going on with Moderna, and we will also need to explore on Novavax, because that one had not been much of discussion. So the discussion on all of them remains open, and we will continue with those. So all in all, I think that all we wanted to do is that when you read all of these issues in the media, do understand that this is a very dynamic platform that we're at in terms of the research and new findings and so on, and different situations in different countries. But nevertheless, in terms of where we said we are going, we will be continuing with our program. This time it will have been tweaked with an integration of the vaccination platform over with the implementation studies that will be done at the same time. That is back office work that will be done by our own teams, because all our research teams and our health national vaccination program, all of those are people who are working together.
Democratic Alliance e phatlaladitse hore e ngoletse motsamaisi wa dipuisano wa seboka sa naha e leng yena Thandi Modise ho fuputsa ka botlalo ho lefella mokete wa tee o tummeng wa Nkandla o etsaetseng bekeng e fetileng. Moetapele wa Economic Freedom Fighter e leng yena Julius Malema le ditho tse ding tsa mokga ka Labohlano ba ne ba etetse ntlo ya ha mopresidente wa mehleng e le yena Jacob Zuma tulong ya Nkandla ho KwaZulu-Natal. Kopano e ne etsaetse ka mora phatlalatso ya Zuma ya ho hana ho laela kahlolo ya Concord ya hore o lokela ho hlaha ka pele commission ya Zondo ho tloha ka la 15 kgweding ya Hlakola. MP Vuyani Pambo o na boleletse moqolotsi wa ditaba ka ntle ho ntlo hore kopana ene e bua fela ka tee, mme a re jwalo ka batho ba batsho ha ba hloke tumello ya ho kopana le hore ba ka kopana neng kapa neng kae kapa kae mo ba batlang.
Came here to say to you very well, the meeting went very well. The tea was nice and sweet and very hot, so the practice of having tea is such that it's a slow process. You can't just gulp it like you drink other things, some girl. So you have to take your time. But it was essentially what it was. It was a tea meeting. The president was meeting the former president. So the CIC, the commander-in-chief, Julius Malema, was meeting with the former president, Jacob Zuma, over tea.
So you now regard him as president and former president. How time has changed since you said this was a monument of corruption, Mr. Pambo?
Well, he remains a former president. That's a more legalistic sort of way of responding. And I'm making a point now. I'm saying the former president, Jacob Zuma, met with the commander-in-chief over tea.
So will former President Zuma be going to the State Capture Commission of Inquiry now?
Well, I'm not the spokesperson of the former president. I'm the spokesperson of the EFF. So I came here simply to allow me to finish with some girl. We came here simply to tell you that the tea went very well and to pay you courtesy.
Vuyani, you spoke about how we've traveled far, So you've come out with your good heart,
Yes.
to tell us about how great and wonderful the tea is.
Absolutely.
Will you take us into some confidence into what the discussions were around constitutionality?
Well, right now,
Consider that we came from far, just like you.
I fully understand. You know, as I explained how the meeting went, it was a meeting over tea, a very nice tea that we had with the former president. You know that black people do not need permission to meet. We meet anytime, anywhere, wherever we want to. We've got the constitutional right to meet. So we came here to meet the former president to have tea, as we were invited.
Mr. Pambo,
Unlike you.
Mr. Pambo, what was the discussions, the substance of the meeting of President Zuma and Julius Malema?
DA e boletse longolong la yona le yang ho modisa hore ba kopile ho laela basebeletsi ba fapaneng ba parlamente ba okametseng tefo ya ditokelo ho ditho tsa parlamente ha mmoho le mongodi wa dithasello tsa setho ya okametseng dimpho tsohle ka mohelo ya baeti le melemo ya maeto ho etsa dipatlisiso ka botlalo hore na kema ya lefelletseng leeto le majabajaba. African National Congress KZN Leona e boletse hore e hloka ho utlwisisa motheo wa kopano dipakeng tsa dinaha tse pedi tse neng di sebedisana le yona tikolong ya ha jwale.
My views I will express them at the right time.
As the ANC SG, are you not concerned of the former president basically defying the constitution and the constitution?
President Zuma is President Zuma. I am Ace Mahashule, Secretary General. I respect Comrade Zuma.
Thank you. Do you feel he was targeted by the Constitutional Court as well?
Well, let's talk about...
when he compares him to the apartheid government,
let's talk. We will one day talk about what is happening in South Africa. That's what I can tell you. There are many wrong things which are happening in this country today. Yeah. We can go to the days of TRC where Botha refused to go to the TRCs and nobody said anything. No, it's not the standard. It's not the standard. Nobody.
Behavior the standard?
No, it's not the standard. You, the media, did not say anything until today. There are TRC prosecutions which are supposed to have happened. They are supposed to happen. They are not happening. You are quiet about that. People who killed us, maimed us during the days of apartheid.
So as Mr. Mahashule, the Secretary General of the ANC, you are okay with the former President of the Republic defying the Concord and the Constitution?
I'm not okay with Zuma defying. I'm saying Comrade Zuma, President, is President Zuma. He has his own views and he has his own rights.
Then why don't you call him to order?
Why should I call him to order? What has he done?
So he's done nothing wrong with defying?
I don't see anything wrong he has done.
Tonakgolo ya Kapa Bophirima Allen Wind o ile a ikopanya le letshwele la mantswe ho kenyeletswa le moetapele wa mokgatla e leng yena Craig Pfizer o nyatsa tlhaselo ya boqolotsi ba ditaba ke ba ipilaetse ba motse Kapa. Mokgatlo wa Pfizer e le sehlopha sa batho ba Kapa ba ile ba bokana le bopong la Fish Hook ka moqebelo ba kopa kemiso.
Hi everyone, I am at Fish Beach. My colleague Crescendo, Lo and I were here to cover the We Are More protest to end lockdown because it's our jobs. Some of the protesters are behind us, at the back of us. Now the head organizer, I know his name is Craig, he approached us and asked us if we are from the media. We said yes, we are from the NCA. We would like to interview him. As we do. He then said he can't hear me. I spoke louder. He then said he can't speak to people who wear masks. We told him, sir, it's the law. We have to wear masks. He then goes on to pull my mask, put it on my face, rips it off. I'm completely shocked. There are police officers around, law enforcement, some kind residents from Fish Hook were also around here to shout at him and basically to tell him, what are you doing?
Milaelwa e huwang ka ena o la tlamelwa ka mahlahlella mme a tshwara ke mapolesa a mo kentseng veneng ya sepolesa.
So, is Captain Collins here? No, about Collins. Can I take you to the position of question? What decision? Fish Hook, I'm the captain. I'm just command. So can I take you now for the commander? I'm the commander. I can ask. There is my member. Maybe you don't know me, maybe the other people don't know me. But we know you get to know me, they by the police station. But the right to remain silent, anything you may say, and then you take them down and take it out of the evidence you could from. Come follow me. No, I need to understand. The law. That's follow. Section 87. The people, why? I'm speaking as peaceful. It's peaceful. Stop. Call it. This is peaceful. Walk to the walk. Just walk. It's close. Okay, Nina. Relax. Can I take my shirt off? Where am I? Just walk. Peace. You want peace? Okay. Yes. This is a peaceful protest. Yeah, that's all inside there. That's all inside. Peace. You get to go talk to him. Get the peace.
Tonakgolo ya KwaZulu-Natal Sihle Zikalala ka Sontaha o re naha e lahlehetswe ke senatla ka morao ho hlokahala ha MEC wa mehleng wa temo le mohale wa ntwa e leng yena Mishak Khatebe. Khatebe o hlokaetse bekeng e fetileng ka mora ho kula ha nakwana a le dilemo di 70 a matsu o mong. MEC wa mehleng o sebeditse mesebetsing e fapaneng mmusong wa lehae le wa African National Congress ho kenetswa le karolo ya motlatsi wa sebui sa lekgotla le ketsa molao ya KZN.
Amanda! Akasithule maqabane. Akasipende emuva. No maguni khunibo.
Mohisi ka Suthare go tla dipapatsong re tla tswela pele ka ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho.
Make massive moves.
I feel confident. I feel like I can take on the world.
You're telling a story through your clothes.
Such a professional, you wouldn't even know.
Criticism is one of my biggest motivations.
Darling, you want to be a model?
Like, oh my God.
I'm glistening.
The fashion industry needs people with beautiful faces.
I would pay thousands of dollars for that look.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
I want you to eat healthy food because it's delicious.
Make massive moves.
Would you like another one?
I love it.
I love this soup. This is amazing. The grits are so creamy. Oh,
I take pride in my grits.
so flavorful.
I think that looks wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so incredible.
Make massive moves with Starsat. Make massive moves.
Wow.
Let's go. Come on, we can be back by morning.
Woogie! Who are you?
I'm the boss.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Awesome. Totally. Yeehaw. Very funny.
Make massive moves with Starsat.
Mohiri o amoela hape ho ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho hona mona ho Galaxy Universal Network ra fumana ho Facebook re Galaxy Universal Network, Twitter le Instagram re gan_TV_. Morena Goodwill Zwelithini wa Mazulu ya tsejwang a tshwere ke lefu la tswekere o behilwe ka phapusing ya tlhokomelo e matla ka lebaka la maemo a tswekere a sa tsitsang. Polelong e phatlaladitsweng ka Sontaha Moparlamente wa Inkatha Freedom Party le tonakgolo ya setso ya morena wa Zulu le setjhaba Khosana Mangosuthu Buthelezi o itse dibekeng tse fitileng dipalo tse mmalwa tse tsitsang tsa tswekere di hlaisitse matshwenyeho mme motlotlehi o ile a tlameha ho ya ngakeng. Ho ya ka Buthelezi ka bomadimabe bothata a baka bararola ka botlalo mme morena o ile a tlameha ho khutlela kgutlela sepetlele ho ya tsitsitsa tswekere ya hae hape ho etsa hore dingaka tsa hae di bone ho hlokala hore di mo kenye ICU ho sebetsana le boemo ka botlalo.
Ukhovethe nokulahleka kwemisebenzi ngenxa yalo ukhovethe kubuhlungu. Nilifisela ukhisimuzo omuhle niudlele emakhaya nonyaka omusha nawo nudlele emakhaya kube unyaka onezibusiso kube nokuthula ezweni. Bangahlukunyezwa abantu besifazane nezingane nogogo ngesikhathi sokuvaleleka. Ngithi-ke Zulu omuhle nakwiNingizimu Afrika yonke makungafi umuntu bakwethu. uNkulunkulu anibusise, ngiyabonga.
Moetapele wa Democratic Alliance Elena John Steenhuisen o boletse hore Afrika Borwa e hloka lenaneo la phethoho e mabifi ya moruo.
The only thing we can do is immediately open up our entire economy, keeping people as safe as humanly possible, and then start with a program of aggressive and bold economic reform. And this is where the likes of Cyril Ramaphosa and Tito Mboweni are going to have to make a big choice between the unity of their party and the progress of our country. It's one or the other. You cannot have both. They're going to have to choose between either the outdated 20th century ideology of state control that has tied us to a low growth path for decades, or a loosening of the state's grip so that the private sector can thrive and create jobs. They're going to have to choose between either bending the knee to unions or embracing labour reforms to make South Africa an attractive investment destination. They're going to have to choose between spiralling national debt with the prospect of a default looming on the horizon, or a debt stabilisation program to cap this at a manageable level. They're going to have to choose between a government monopoly on energy supply with all its load shedding and spiralling costs, or an energy market that is open to far more independent suppliers and competition. They're going to have to choose between the crippling effects of BBBEE or a version of empowerment that doesn't chase away investments and actually targets those South Africans who are most in need of redress. They're also going to have to choose between expropriation without compensation.
Ho romelwa ha khadre ho hlaisitse boemo bo robehileng bo sa kgone ho phethahatsa boitlamo ba bona ba mantlha ho batho.
Cadre deployment has entrenched a culture of impunity, as those who fail at their jobs or are caught stealing from the public are then simply redeployed elsewhere. And because ANC loyalists have been parachuted into the top of the NPA, SAPS, the Hawks and SARS, every single check and balance on the abuse of power has been weakened. The ineffective are rewarding themselves, the incompetent are assessing themselves, and the corrupt are policing themselves. And all this while the army of well-paid deployed cadres just grows and grows until the state is so bloated and so top-heavy with people adding no value at all that it simply ceases to function. Allow this to continue for more than 2 decades, and you end up where we are today, a broken state incapable of delivering on even the most basic of its obligations to the people. Every single problem in our country stems from this capture of the state by the ANC. Every parastatal that has collapsed or is in the process of doing so is because it has been captured through cadre deployment, mismanaged, and ultimately looted dry. Every broken health department and every dysfunctional education department across 8 of our 9 provinces can trace its demise directly back to the calibre of the cadres deployed to its leadership. Our inability in this country to bring crime under control or to manage and protect our rail infrastructure or to run...
Kalabohlane United States ile ya lahlela tshetso ya yona mora ho ngozi o konjo lwela wa Nigeria ho etela pele mokgatlo wa lefatshe wa kgwebo ka mona hore mohanyetse wa Korea Borwa a ikhule. Ofisi ya moemedi wa kgwebo wa US e phatlaladitse lebitsong la tsamaiso ya mopresidente Joe Biden. Ofisi ya moemedi wa kgwebo ya America e boletse la bohlano hore o konje lwela o hlomphuwa haholo ka boetapele ba hae ho sebetsang mme o na le boiphihlelo ba ho laola mokgatlo o moholo wa matjhabeng o nang le ditho tse fapaneng.
Trade is important for economic recovery and prosperity in the 21st century. And the WTO is right at the center of that. My vision for the WTO is of a WTO with purpose, where trade is seen as a means of delivering sustainable growth and shared prosperity. A WTO with trust, where members work together to deliver outcomes that will be good for the multilateral trade system.
Bana ba sekolo ba Chicago ba lebeletse ho khutlela diphaposing ha morao bekeng ena. Ratoropo Lori Lightfoot o phatlaladitse Sontaha ka mora hore mesuwe ya mokgatla wa Chicago le dikolo tsa setjhaba tsa Chicago ba fitlile tumellanong ya nakwana. Lightfoot o buile mantswe ana sebokeng sa boraditaba a hlalosa dikgwedi tse 11 tse fitileng le setsukutsane sa toropo yohle se ileng sa sutumetsa meedi ho makgetla a mangata.
So good afternoon, everyone. We are here to announce the very good news that our children will be returning to in-person learning this week. These past 11 months have been a whirlwind for our entire city, pushing us to limits, not once, not twice, but countless times. We've lost jobs, and we've lost loved ones. We've grappled with the losing, the certainty and predictability of our lives, and been left instead with instability, uncertainty.
Mohi re fitile pheletsong ya ditaba tsa rona tsa Sesotho ha re khutle e re taneng hape ka hosane hona mona ho Galaxy Universal Network channel 500 ho Starsat. Hi papa twe.